Coach, how are you?
Great, Greg. How are you?
Good to speak with you. Thanks for joining us here. Before we kind of look back at some great memories, just want to get an update on how the current men's national team is doing. I know this has been a weird time with no practice, being out of the pool, getting close to getting back in the water. How is the team doing right now?
We are doing good. We are doing everything what we can to do right now outside of the water. As everyone, we are mostly on the Zooms, on a week schedule. We are hoping that we will have some good news in upcoming days. So far, so good.
You have been involved in water polo your whole life. Is this the longest you've gone without being at the pool?
Yes. Unfortunately, answer is unfortunately yes, and I'm hoping that will be the last time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are hoping that. One last thing about the current team, because some of your athletes have said this, that even though everyone wants to be playing, maybe it is a benefit because now the team has another year to prepare and get better for Tokyo. Is that some of the things that you're all talking about, that you have an extra year to get ready and get better?
It's for sure for us as a group, it's too good that we will have 1 year more for experience, for more practice, for more, but unfortunately, we don't know when we're going to start practice right now.
Mhm.
No, you can look on this from different angles, different from different national team from different countries, you know, for sure that a new situation and postponing Olympics, everyone try to adjust as we are trying to adjust, but we are trying to make the much better plan as we can, for upcoming months and time ahead of us. So I'm looking forward. What's coming for us. I think that I was not honestly I pleased when officially games were postponed, but because I saw in December, January, February, and before we were stopped in March, that the team is going in good direction. That the players are rapidly going high, individually, and the puzzles became, in right positions. So, right now we need to, again to do, analyze situation and make the best plan as we can. For sure, we're gonna do that, and it's the way it is. This is life, and we just need to adjust. Right now, you asked me the first question. Right now, we have several guys who already jump in the pool, who are living right now currently out of California, so that's good, But this is something what they are doing individually, and I'm hoping that we will be able to do as a group very soon.
Yeah, we saw Alex Bowen already back on a plane headed back to Europe to get ready to restart his season. We're talking here with Dejan Udovicic, head coach for the USA men's national team. This week's theme has been about memories of water polo over the last couple of decades. I want to start before you were a coach, you were a player, you loved water polo. What's your first Olympic water polo memory? What's the first game or team you remember watching in the Olympic Games?
You were surprised, but my answer is 5-5 USA Yugoslavia 84.
Huh?
Yeah. So that was, I watched all the games, but this is something what I remember, especially because different of the time zone. We watched that over the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. So in Europe, so and I just started that year to become starting playing professional for Partizan when I was 14. And I was trying to to be much as I can involved. Everything was going connected with water polo. So, and in 84, you didn't have Instagram, iPhone, social network, all those things. So we were waiting for just one, broadcasting from, from Olympics. And that was huge for us, So I think that game, I can say honestly, that game was still, as the huge one in the beginning of my, you know, water polo life.
And as the 80s went on, and I'm sure if you watched 84, then you watched 88. We were talking with members of the U.S. men's national team during that era yesterday and tomorrow and later today. What do you remember about how competitive those USA Yugoslavia games were? Those were the two best teams at the time, right?
Yes, you're totally right, and the results are showing because both finals game was USA against Yugoslavia in that moment. So great talent, they had great players in both teams. Greg Wilson was great. Terry Schroeder was great. So all those players who played for United States. For sure, I know much better the players from Yugoslavia side. That moment, and I was fortunate that I was in the plane going for some tournament over the summer, in Croatia, and returning back because they returned back from Olympics, landing in Belgrade. So they spent one night, and day after Croatian players take the flights going back to the Croatian cities. And I was in a play for Split, for example, with Bezmalinovic from Split, all the flight, and that was amazing for me experience,
Yeah.
And he was talking, how was that, I was young, but that was amazing for me, and I remember that everybody knew that he's in the plane. Everybody was waiting for him in Split, there was, reception, everything, it's already prepared because it was huge moment for everyone, winning a gold Olympic medals is a huge thing.
We're talking with Dejan Udovicic, head coach of the USA men's national team. Of course, former head coach for the Serbian national team as well. You were talking about watching those 84 games and the 88 games. I always love to ask this question. When you were a player coming up, who was your favorite player? Who was the person that and I know there wasn't as many videos and there wasn't YouTube, but was there a player or players that you loved to watch and you tried to copy their moves in the pool?
Unfortunately, I couldn't copy him, but he played on other position. But I think Igor Milanovic was a new brand, a new style in water polo in the 80s and 90s. The power, what he was capable to deliver on center position, on the position 4 or 3, counting European side, it was in that moment was super power for Yugoslavian team. So he has he had a very unique, heavy release, from that position. So he was one unique, and I like to, I liked to watch, and I was able to see how he was working hard. It was Manuel Estuarte when he was playing last 2-3 years in Sisle Pescara, and I was a teammate and roommate for long years from Dragan Andrić also, and he was in that time was considered one of the best defenders players in the world. So he teach me a lot, and I learned from him a lot, So if I can say right now, from the 80s and 90s, those 3 players for me are very unique.
We've been talking about history all week long and the importance of remembering who some of these excellent players were. 2 weeks ago, we talked with many legends in women's water polo about their history, and now talking men's water polo. A lot of people mention Manuel Estiardi. Tony Azevedo, who you coached, talks about him because he was a guy who wasn't that big in the pool, but was able to do some big things. And I think Estiardi played in, six Olympic Games, right?
Yeah.
What made him so special, even though people think the water polo players have to be huge? He was not the biggest guy in the pool, and he was one of the best of all time.
His water polo IQ was unbelievable, and he was so fast, He was so fast, You couldn't catch him, You couldn't hold him, And he was, It was really, Everybody is talking about Estiarte, in offense, and he was. And he was the best scorer for I don't know how many tournaments in a row, But if you guys remember, they won the Olympic Games when he realized that he doesn't want to be the top scorer that Spain will gonna win the Olympic game, Olympic gold, you know. And also he was a great defender player. So I think that his IQ was unbelievable.
Yeah, one of the all-time greats. So as you're progressing through your career, at a certain point, you realize that you're not going to be able to keep playing at that high level, you know, at the club or national team level. When did you kind of set your sights on dreaming of coaching at the Olympic level?
You know, it's different. You can talk about that, you know, from different perspective, you know. So, you know, I think that each coach are trying to learn from the players as much as he can, you know, and try to see, you know, what other coaches, other players are doing, you know, try to uh, if they are from his point of view are useful to try to put in his program on his point of game plan, whatever, you know. I think that for me was always most important to see, you know, that motivation of the players, their commitment, you know, and their work hard, you know. And I was always trying to, you know, go ahead a little bit, you know, anticipate what's going to come next, you know, try to initiate some new things. And I can say, you know, I'm glad that I did a lot of new things which someone else accepted, you know. So I think that when I came here in States 7 years ago, you know, I was in that moment. I was, let's say, I was thinking, and I already knew what I can find here and what I can expect, you know. But then time to time, I change, you know, and I think that we find the formula which can work, you know, and you know that I believe that here in States we can make our unique, you know, USA program, national team program, which will not be connected to the European style of play or Australian style of play or Chinese or Japanese, whatever. I think that we should go and look for the future to make the plan and make the program what is benefits for us. You know, don't try, you know, our game plan, you know, with center, without center, with us, you know, fast breaks or slowly return 6-on-6, whatever. There is a different game types of planes. So right now, you know, I think that we are going in a good direction if we, you know, and as I said, I'm really looking forward for the upcoming months in the future.
Talking with Dejan Udovicic here about some great memories and about what's ahead here for Team USA, and we'll get to some questions here shortly. We have some good ones coming in. You've had the chance to coach at the Olympic Games multiple times, whether it's with Team Serbia or now with Team USA. You've also coached a bunch of other events. What makes coaching at the Olympic Games special? How does that feel different than coaching at a World Championships or at a friendly or something else?
It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. You know, my first Olympics was Beijing 2008. You know, so as a Serbian coach, you know, so you know it's a huge. It's a high. Pressure is enormous comparing any other competitions. You know, and the schedule is very tough. You know, all countries who are there, who are participating in tournament, everybody was trying to win, you know. So there is no, you know, there is some favorite or less favorites, but everybody, this is one game, you know. So, and, you know, it's, for me, you know, playing for the country and, you know, on that high stage is something what dreams come true. Doesn't matter. I didn't play as a player, but I was already on the three Olympics back to back, you know. So I can say, you know, every Olympics is different, you know, every Olympic is different, but, you know, that should be the high motivation for each player when they're starting to, in early age, you know, when they're 7, 8 years old, to play for their country, you know, as Olympic game, you know, and not just once, you know, because this is something higher, you know, than anything in athlete sport, you know, and be there and feel that atmosphere, you know, and be around those another stars from other sports, sharing the knowledge, see how another sports are behaving, or their professionalism or whatever, it's very, it's very unique, it's something what's will keep in your life for good,
You have had tremendous success over the years. World Championship with Serbia, of course, club water polo in Europe as well. Building up Team USA here. Is there a game that stands out? Is there an all-time favorite match that you were involved in that is just one of your favorite memories? Maybe it was an amazing finish, or it was something else special that just kind of always comes to mind when you think about your all-time favorite games.
It's I learned that the last tournament is always the most memorable tournament in your life. So I would say, that what's happened in Pan American Games and how the team performed was a huge impact for us for the future. Especially only the group who was involved and a little bit around know how we had the troubles and difficulties and what was a very hard time to build that group, and I need to say that that group reflect or played some games beyond my prognosis or my forecast, so I'm pleased, and enjoy what they show after that game and after qualifying for Olympics was amazing, so. And also I think from the Serbian side, I think it's 2009 definitely.
Yeah.
The World Championship, because nobody give us any chance, and I think that was that if that 2009 didn't happen, that will be difficult future for Serbian water polo, in that situation. So because that was more than just a medal, I think, because that new generation just arrived, young players who are still playing, and there was a lot of question marks about that group, and I'm happy that everything finished for their good and for the water polo in Serbia in that way. So that was, and if I can say, that game in quarterfinal against Italy, in eighth finals against Italy was crucial for us because everybody was thinking that we're going to lose the game. So
a couple of great memories there. You mentioned the Pan American Games in Peru, and the USA men had that earlier game against Canada that was tough, and then came back in the final with a very strong effort. How special was that for you to see the team come back in the most important game and play their best water polo?
I was so proud, honestly. I was so proud, and I was so lucky because of the guys and everybody who was around, because as I said, it was really tough period, a year and a half behind us because of that, and especially because of guys, because as a coach, as I said earlier, and that something is going in good direction for your perspective, but you need to share that, and convince someone from another side. And it's not easy to convince someone, sometimes, the young player, to believe and trust what you're telling, even if he doesn't see from his perspective that you're right, So that game give those guys, from my point of view, provement that what I was telling them year and a half, 2 years back, that it's right, that they can do more, that they can see, they can maybe think in that moment. They are capable to do this. They're also talented as everyone around the world, and someone told me that then they, even looking back in the history, I don't know when was the final game in Pan America's game finished with that high score difference.
Yeah.
So, and I remember, we had the lead, I think 10-1 or 11-1, and everybody forget that we we played great, but our 5 men was phenomenal, because in that moment we were, comparing just the numbers, we were, we had 4 men ups and Canada have 10 men ups, So I think that, that game, and just to repeat myself, at 2009 was pretty much, high level, emotions for me.
No, you're exactly right. You look back over the years of Pan American games, it often ends up USA against Canada. The USA has won, but the games have been closer. To your point, in Peru, it was a much larger score. We got a couple of questions came in here. Parker asks, how does college water polo in the U.S. compare to club water polo in Europe? And I know there's many differences, but for you, Coach, what are some of the big differences?
It's a huge difference. It's hugely different. Just starting that, we States, we are playing in 25 meters. They're playing 30 meters. This is huge different of the game plan, and the experience, the bodies, and the intense of the games is totally different. You can ask every player who came from the college and finished the college and joined the national team, and he spent the first year over the summer with the national team, or maybe go abroad. And when he returned back, he will say to you, everyone, that it's huge different. It's just huge different. And I'm not blaming anyone. It's just the way it is. I am not thinking that, and that should not be the NCAA will be, something, comparing with European competitions in Europe. I think that we should, and this is something what I'm trying to, to several years in the past, trying to, I'm voting, as I said, so that I think that the better idea is to move fall season to the spring, that we be able to, without any restrictions, to do some clubs competitions during the summer here in States. And then we're gonna try to, combine the system, what can benefit also for college players and for the national team players in the same time. It's not going easy, like fate.
We're talking a little bit about college water polo. Just this past Saturday, one of your players, Ben Halleck, named the Catino Award winner for the second straight year after helping Stanford win the national championship. You get to see him in practice all the time. How has he gotten better, and where do you think Ben Halleck can go in water polo? How much better can he get?
You just need to understand it's not easy to talk about your own player, publicly, because, you never know, it's good or bad, but
Sure.
Ben is showing that he's mature a lot for his ages, and for his age that he will understand this in the best way. So one of the players, which I'm sorry because we stopped, in March, and the Olympic Games is Ben. One of he's belonged, because from my point of view, he improved a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Year and a half, he improved a lot. He was a talented player, but I think that finally he realized that talent is one thing, and he needs to put the work to be better. And he's going in that direction. He put a lot of work. It's obviously, that he is the best player in college, so far, and his talent, I'm not seeing anyone close in the world in his age that he's, close at all. So, I don't know right now what his future gonna be, in 5 years and 8 years. But if he's gonna continue to work hard as he is working right now and stay in water polo, he will be for sure in top players in the world, number 3 players in the world, for sure, in upcoming. So, to compare someone from the history, that player and that team need to win something.
Mm-hmm.
So to compare Ben with Terry Schroeder, for example, or Greg Wilson, as I mentioned before, he needs to win something on the international stage that he be compared. you know, and I truly believe that he can be the leader of the new generation and the group who is coming here in States, and who, you know, and I'm pleased that Ben is one of the players who passed all national team, you know, pipelines teams, you know, and get through the ODP, and he's unique talent. Unique talent. I'm very glad for him, and I trust him a lot. So he is young, but I trust him a lot.
Excellent thoughts on Ben Halleck. During this time when nobody can practice, everyone is thinking about how they can get better. You know, they want to improve their game. They want to get back in the pool. You've coached a bunch of great players. Without naming any names, what's something that a lot of the best players had in common? If you think about all of the really good players, was it their work ethic or their attitude? What was it about the really good players that was common among all of them?
I don't know any great players in the world who are not committed what they're doing in the water polo 24/7. So even if he's not in the pool, even if he's not in the gym, he's thinking how to recover, how to watch the movie, the films, how to analyze his game and everything. You must be in that 24/7 if you want to really succeed, you know. So I just think, you know, IQ and talent is one thing, but take care of your body, try to work hard, trust your players, trust your coaching staff, you know, have some motivation on daily basis, you know, have some goals, but not the medium level goal. High level goals is something what you're pushing you on daily basis to become better and better all the time. So I think you're enough around water polo, Greg, as I am, you know. You can see, you know, the difference with a player who is really committed to the water polo on the deck with a player who is not, you know. And this is that different. And you can see, you know, how someone is talking, how someone is approaching, how he's taking care of his duties, you know, all those little details, you know, it's different between, you know, average players and high educated and high profile players. So you can find in every country, you know, and I'm pleased that I'm part of a water polo family around the world, you know, I can say that.
Talking with Dejan Udovicic. It's just a couple of more minutes here. We were talking about some great memories earlier, and you were talking about how the first Olympic Games you remember was 1984 in Los Angeles, USA versus Yugoslavia. I'm curious, do you remember the first time you got to go to the pool at Pepperdine? Was that a fun moment for you to be at the pool where you had watched those games all those years ago?
Unfortunately, I never jumped in the pool in Pepperdine, so I came to watch a few games, you know, and usually I'm not jumping in the pool at all. So yeah. I'm not that type of the coach who will jump in the pool, but I can, you know. But you know, it's I didn't jump.
No, I was just more curious if it was cool for you to be at the pool, you know, like at the facility that you had watched on TV.
Yeah, it was cool, but it was not easy to figure that it was the same pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, you know, when you come right now to the Pepperdine, you know, you don't have that feeling that was Olympic pool, you know. But for Olympics, that was 12,000 people.
Yeah, they added extra stands and
12,000 people. Yeah, right now it's for, I don't know, 300 people, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, but I remember, you know, because that was outdoor, you know, and the games was outdoor, you know. I remember that was amazing for me, but because the ocean was behind when they broadcast, the ocean was behind, and it was nice picture to see, you know. It's nice view to see, you know. This is great facility, and you know, great location for Pepperdine University. There is no doubt about that, you know. But you know, and I think that that's what it is.
Excellent. Coach, we're excited to see you and the team back in the pool very soon. We know that's coming up quick, and looking forward to seeing you and the team in Tokyo next summer and at your future games. Really appreciate you taking some time to talk with us.
Okay, thank you.